Hi everyone, this is Athena from Courage Coaching. Thank you so much for stopping by today. In today's video, we are going to talk about the father wound. And since this channel focuses primarily on narcissistic fathers, the focus of today's video will be on that. Now, a father is stereotypically known to be the protector in a family household and a provider. So what happens when a father in a family is disengaged or is unavailable? A father wound means that the father in the household ends up being a father that is not present, either physically or emotionally, and is generally very disengaged and unavailable to a child in their childhood. Now, a father may be present physically in the home, but he may be emotionally unavailable and highly critical of his wife or his children. He may be physically abusive, he may be emotionally abusive, and in the far worst case, he may be physically, emotionally, financially, and sexually abusive. Now, the father wound can also be part of what is known as intergenerational trauma. Now, mother and father wounds can be passed down from one generation to the next, especially when these are not treated. When trauma isn't treated in one generation, it moves on to the next. And it's only in recent years where a lot of people who have suffered this trauma start waking up to it, and they want to break the cycle. They don't want to keep passing on this trauma to their children, and that is a very good thing. Now, we can have a mother wound and we can have a father wound, but they very much differ in how they affect the children, which prevents the child from learning how to self-soothe and how to regulate its emotions. Whereas when a child has a father wound, this affects the child's self-image, the child's sense of worth, the child's self-confidence, and a sense of independence. But of course, when you combine a mother wound and a father wound, the child will have all of these challenges together, which is of course very detrimental for their life when they become an adult, because they will have a lot of struggles with their mental health. They will struggle with their self-image, they will struggle with regulating their emotions, they will struggle with having healthy relationships because they will have attachment issues, whether this is an anxious attachment or an avoidant attachment. They may be very shut down emotionally. They may have self-sabotaging behaviors. Obviously, they'll have low self-esteem, low self-worth. They will struggle very much with regulating their emotions. They will have a fear of rejection or betrayal or abandonment from others. They will actually have difficulties parenting their own children if they do have children. They may be very loose or very rigid with boundary setting. And they will, of course, suffer with mental health conditions such as anxiety, depression, and CPTSD. And also another huge issue of somebody who's had trauma, who's had a father wound, who's had a combination of a mother wound and a father wound, is that they will develop addiction issues. Addiction will be the one way that they try to self-soothe because they have never learned how to regulate their emotions in a healthy way. So they will end up drinking too much or eating too much in order to cope with the emptiness that they feel, with the sense of helplessness they feel, with the lack of love they have felt growing up, and with this deep sense of unworthiness that they feel. And also, let's not forget that if we've had a highly critical father, an abandoning father, a guilt-tripping father, a father who was not really there emotionally but was very critical and very demanding of us, we will also carry what is known as toxic shame. Now, toxic shame is a huge thing when somebody has had a father wound, and this follows them into adulthood. And shame is a very, very difficult emotion to deal with because it says you are bad. Not your actions are bad, not what you've done is wrong, that you are bad, you are wrong, you are not worthy as a human. And this was obviously projected onto the child from the father, who'd never managed to heal his own wounds and kept passing this on to his children. Now, this is very damaging for the child's self-worth, and they will have all of the struggles I just mentioned in adulthood trying to deal with this absent, critical father. Now, like I said before, if there is both a father and a mother wound and there is combined trauma from both parents, and that child doesn't have another adult to lean on, doesn't have another person to help them through this very lonely, isolating, unloving time as a child, they will struggle very, very much with their mental health. If they didn't have any siblings they could turn to, or an aunt or an uncle or a grandparent that they could turn to feel safe, they will have real problems. If you have ever looked into the ACEs study, this is a very good way to figure out how severely you were affected by your childhood trauma. You can fill out the questionnaire of the ACEs study and you will see that your resilience may be lower or higher depending on whether you had one adult in your childhood that was there for you. If you didn't have any adults or anybody to turn to, your resilience score may be lower. Have a look at the ACEs study. It's a brilliant way of assessing your level of trauma and how you can move forward with this. If you have a father wound, be aware that this has a huge effect on you. Whether you're a man or a woman, it doesn't matter. This affects both children. And be kind to yourself, because it's a really, really tough thing to recover from. It is possible to heal from this, to have a better quality of life. So don't give up on this. And if you need to check out any resources at all about how to heal, then please check out the links below this video. And if you have any questions at all, please feel free to send me an email to courageisallyouneed@gmail.com. And if you would like to try an alternative way of healing yourself, of self-discovery, then I also do art therapy for whoever's interested. I do online sessions, and these sessions usually are 4 or 5 sessions. And they help you explore your emotions through creating art, which is a different way of expressing emotions, which can feel safer for those of you who've had trauma, because in many ways it might be really hard to constantly talk about everything you've been through. And it might be easier for you to express this in visual form. So if you would like to try art therapy, then I'm also available for art therapy one-on-one online sessions if this is something you would like to explore. Thank you so much for listening and watching today, everyone. Take care, and I will see you very soon. Bye-bye.